All right, let's move to the final college football playoff game on Saturday. Saturday night, 8 Eastern on ABC. Ohio State and Tennessee in Columbus. Ohio State, where are we at? Are we still holding at 7? I mean, we've been at a juiced.
Keep flickering.
Yeah, we're still at, let me look at, that's 7.5 still. Some juiced. Tennessee minus 115 looks like consensus as of right now. By the way, if you want to go to Columbus, a couple places to hit. If you want pizza, Adriatico's. If you want, sorry, yawned. If you want deli, Katzinger's Deli, and then you got to go to Wario's for sandwiches, chicken cutlet Caesar. All right, Ohio State, Tennessee. My my numbers like the favorite again. My numbers like the favorite in all three games
What are you at?
on
I'm at 6.5. What are you at?
on Saturday. 10.2.
Ooh.
But I hate Tennessee. I've hated Tennessee all year. Um, and I don't trust this Tennessee offense. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit.
Mhm.
The Ohio State defensive line you can push around a bit. If you look at some of their underlying metrics, but I mean, you look at what this ten. I don't trust Nico in this passing offense. Their offensive line has issues in pass protection, and I mean, if you look at what Nico has done on the road, and I don't even count that Vandy game as a road. I mean, that was a home game. It was 90% Tennessee fans.
Right.
At Georgia, 20 of 33 for 160. At Arkansas, the bad secondary, 17 of 29 for 158 and a loss. At Oklahoma, 13 of 21 for 194. It hasn't been that. I mean, all year his numbers have not been that impressive. There's no explosiveness in this offense, and so I don't trust. I think the Ohio State defense is going to dominate. I might go Tennessee team total under, to be honest, but because I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach this. Because where I was just in Cleveland over the weekend talking to a ton of Ohio State fans who were like, we talked about this, how we think everyone was tight for that Michigan game. Well, everyone's tight now, and I think it might have been more beneficial to go on the road. This game to me all comes down to the start. So I don't know how to
Yeah.
bet it because if like Ohio State comes out fast, then I'm gonna just I'll get a bad number if I try to bet back Ohio State. Do I bet one of those? I don't bet like game prop. Is it like Ohio State first half and full game
Right.
combos?
I think what
This
you're
is all
trying to
about
say,
this.
well, I think what you're trying to say, and I agree with you, is whoever shows domination in the first two series of the game, you might as well just live bet that team.
Yeah, and well, also any team. I don't think any team's gonna have success playing from behind in this game,
Right.
and because of the offensive line issues, and because of the both defensive lines and how much pressure I think each defense can get. And the Ohio State, so my initial thought also was under 47.
Mhm.
My only fear, so Tennessee plays fast, but they're not really that explosive. Ohio State's a snail. But my only fear for Ohio State, who plays really slow, they want to communicate with the quarterback, blah, 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 is all the comments with Chip Kelly and how bad the game plan was against Michigan, right? You were going up against an elite defensive line. All you tried to do was run into walls.
Right.
When did you have success in the offense that game? The final drive of the first half, they went hurry up because they had to, and they threw it. And they went down and scored a touchdown. And then they didn't do it again. So they said that they've gone through the tape with a fine tooth comb. So there's a chance I think Ohio State says we have to come out here and throw,
Yeah.
and we got to use tempo, which also can wear down the defensive lines and blah, blah. Then you're gonna have two teams using tempo. So that keeps me off the under after digging in, just fear of how Ohio State might approach this.
You're
The
making
Ohio State,
making me
yeah,
laugh. You're making me laugh because you just saw DTR in person. It was the same thing at UCLA. Like, run, 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 run. Well, look, can DTR get a pass out there to one of these tight ends? Like he just Chip Kelly refused to get away from it sometimes. Stubborn.
yep. But I think after that being the last game and at home, I think you have to come out with a completely different game plan because this is a similar type of defense. Great defensive line. You can attack their secondary. Now, the question on the other side of the ball, the question is, can the Ohio State offensive line protect Will Howard? Because he is very shaky under pressure. One big time throw, six turnover worthy plays. His completion percentage drops from 78 to 52 from when kept clean to when under pressure. There's potential offensive line changes coming. You might get Montgomery in there. You might get Padilla. How does that play out? They've had some time to work on it, but they maybe it can help. But there's just a lot of variance there. If you haven't had like live game action building continuity and you're making changes for a college football playoff game, that's a huge storyline. But so my numbers like Ohio State, I think Ohio State will cover if they start fast. If they don't, I think that they might lose the game outright. If they go like three and outs and then get behind, and then Howard has to throw, and this offensive line can't protect. Like that's how important I think. Because then I think on the other side, I think if Ohio State jumps out, Nico will eventually make a mistake, and they'll get pressure on him. Like the start to this game is so important, not only just from how the game's going to play out schematically and where the strengths and weaknesses of each respective team are, but also just mentally for Ohio State and that crowd. So yeah, numbers like Ohio State. Still trying to figure out how I want to play this, but definitely at 7, I'll probably be on the Buckeyes in some form
Yeah.
or fashion. What are you saying?
It's funny. I wanted to wait to talk to you before I started fire on this, but earlier today I did take a first half under 23 because it's all the same sentiments that you have. And now that I'm thinking about it with our over at the Action app, our Parlay Express account, why not put a wager on like first team scores, leads first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? I mean, I don't know what that would pay. First team scores wins the game. I don't know, but there's props out there like that. And I feel like because Heupel has a certain offense that he does not go away from, and Kelly has a certain offense that he does not go away from, when it gets broken, it's broken, right? Tennessee was broken against Arkansas. Now, let me handicap this again because I do like Tennessee, but I like them for defensive reasons. But on offense, it is going to be the Dylan Sampson show, 100%. The Bulls are going to use inside zone, counter, power, whatever they need to. Each of them have a very strong success rate. Power creates an explosive one of every 4 attempts. So watch Dylan Sampson against that defensive line of Ohio State that can be chewed up. They're what, outside the top 50 in line yards? They're kind of mid success rate, FBS wise, defending all those concepts, but power is really where they get gashed. And Buckeyes are 53rd in broken tackles. I think that's important because if Sampson gets to the second level, look out because some of these guys in the back end of this Ohio State defense, they've kind of missed out on some tackles. The Vols offensive line is ninth in line yards. That should be able to push around, get Sampson what he needs so he can get about 4 yards after first contact. The one thing that's going to get Tennessee to win this game is staying in standard downs. If they get into passing downs, they're done. Nico
Yeah.
Iamaleava this season, 2.9 seconds till release. Like 2.5 is the average in college football. What are we doing? Are we making a sandwich? Like way too slow. That is a huge factor with an offensive line that's 74th in pass blocking. Ohio State's going to be all over that. If Tennessee can stay in standard
They're going to
downs
be
with,
sending pressure, yeah, especially on
yeah.
passing downs.
So that's the handicap on the Tennessee side. And you think they're going to have success, and then they're going to get down in the red zone area, and we'll see what they can do. Because on the other side of the ball, the offensive line issues for Ohio State, a real problem. I mean, you mentioned a lot of the things. There's been a lot of shuffling. There's been a lot of moving around. Tennessee's advantage here is absolutely insane when you dive into the numbers, especially at the edge positions. Everybody knows what James Pierce has been able to do. He is ranked #1 in PFF in pass rush productivity. Nobody creates pressure like James Pierce. But then when you go and look at the rush, their other edge, Joshua Josephs, dominates offensive tackles, graded #1 at the edge position in PFF at run defense. So which one are you going to run? Have to run at Pierce, right? And you're going to have to go away from Pierce and passing. I mean, it's insane what this Tennessee defensive line is. And we talked about this on a couple of pods. Tennessee's secondary was wiped. First string, second string in the offseason, and they are top 40. Tim Banks has them top 40. If Will Howard has to pass with pressure, one big time throw, 6 turnover worthy plays, and 88 pressure dropbacks this season, Tennessee does not allow you to catch the ball, 24th in creating contested catches. To me, the game screams defenses dominating here. I don't expect explosive plays from Tennessee. I don't expect them from Ohio State. Both defenses are top 25 in creating contested catches. Ohio State's outside zone is just going to go right into the defensive edges of Tennessee. That's not going to work either. So if you had to make a bet, or you're in a pool. I mean, the under's trickling down. I like that. The worry is what Stuck said. If Chip Kelly says, well, we're just going to have to throw with Will Howard. I like Tennessee at 7.5. I make it 6.5. I like it lower, but it's really a defensive play. So I agree with you. Do we just take both team totals under? Do we take full game under? To me, from a live betting perspective, everybody, I think the team that scores first and shows domination the first two series, they're absolutely going to win the game and win every quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the Tennessee secondary can be got if you protect. I mean, because if you look, who did the Tennessee defense play this year? The passing attacks they played: NC State, Chattanooga, Kent State, Oklahoma, who had no receivers, no offensive line. Arkansas, Florida, should have lost to Florida, lost to Arkansas. Alabama.
But you do agree that Will Howard's going to see pressure,
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying if they can find a way to protect
right?
this secondary is vulnerable. It's going to be Tennessee's downfall eventually. Well, I don't know if Ohio State will be the team that can take advantage because I don't know if they can protect, and I don't know if Howard can do it under pressure. But then they lost to Georgia. They played Mississippi State, UTEP, and Vandy. Like they haven't really faced any. They had a very soft SEC schedule.